Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today on how to use PartySlate and Canva together to win more event business. I'm so excited to have everyone here today. We have some amazing panelists with us, as well as Lynette, who's our Director of Marketing. I think this is gonna be a really good one. We will maybe just give everyone a handful of minutes to file on in. I feel like sometimes, people might be Teams users and joining Zoom. I feel like there's always something that pops up, maybe an update. So we'll give people a few seconds. In the meantime, I'm always curious to know who all is on the call with us. And so if you want to say a quick hello, tell us where you're calling in from. And also, I'm just curious if you are currently a Canva user, what you're using Canva for, or if this is your first time using Canva, discovering Canva. I think it'll be great for us to just kind of know everyone's experience on this call as we go into the rest of this webinar. And at the bottom, if you are typing, where you're from and your experience with Canva in, you can switch it to everyone instead of just the host and panelists, and then everyone on the call is going to be able to see it. All right, I see we have someone who's been a Canva Pro user since 2019. We have some fresh Canva users, which is awesome. I feel like you're gonna hopefully leave this webinar knowing a lot more things about how to use Canva. I was just telling Kelsey and Monica earlier, I feel like I need to become better at using Canva because there's so many things that I feel like you can do. And I am certainly not I would consider myself an amateur at Canva. A lot of Canva love, and some people who are new to PartySlate, which is great too. We will talk also about how you can leverage your PartySlate photo hub within Canva to help it all work together for you, because I also know sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming when you feel like you have your content and your photos all over the place. And we are here to try and make it a little bit simpler so that you can maximize and take advantage of everything that you have within Canva. With that, why don't we get started? So, like I said, I'm Lillian. I'm here from PartySlate, our SVP of operations, and excited today, like I said, to have Lynette, who is also on the PartySlate team, our director of marketing, as well as Monica and Kelsey, who are on as our panelists. And so, why don't we start? Lynette, can you do a quick intro of yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Lynette Lewis. I just started with Party Slate back in December. I'm absolutely loving it. The industry is so phenomenal. Everyone in it is so kind. I've loved meeting all of our customers and meeting people at events. I'm our director of marketing, so my team is in Canva every day.
Lynette is here as our PartySlate Canva expert because they create some really cool things with Canva. And Kelsey is also here with us from the Shed Aquarium in Griffin using the science and industry. So Kelsey, do you want to give a quick intro about yourself and your role at the venues that you work with?
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm Kelsey Utterback. I'm a regional director of catering sales for Sodexo Live, and we do all the venue and catering sales at the Shed Aquarium and Griffin Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. So when people reach out, they're talking to us from start to completion of event, and my role is to be a bit more of prospecting, finding people to bring into the museum and aquarium, and we have full sales teams on site as well.
Thanks, Kelsey. We also have Monica here who's joining us from Well Done Catering. Monica, can you give us a quick intro about yourself and your role within Well Done?
Hi, I'm Monica Bella. I'm the digital marketing coordinator at Well Done. So I do everything from social media content, all of our sort of print and digital marketing tools, and then I assist the sales team. So we're using Canva for a lot of proposals, and ensuring that their materials look beautiful and cohesive, and so that we can essentially show clients the scope of our work and give them up-to-date proposals on whatever they happen to be wanting to have a party for.
I love it. I feel like there's just so many things that you can do within Canva. So I know that some people who are joining are really familiar with PartySlate, but some people might be hearing and learning about PartySlate for the first time. So before we get going on our panelists, I actually want to just do a quick intro of PartySlate. And so I'm going to start with a quick story, actually. So, a lot of what PartySlate is built around is around content. And people say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But here at PartySlate, we actually believe that it can be worth a lot more. And I'm going to share a quick story. So this is the Four Seasons Beverly Hills. This is their entry hallway, entrance into the building. And, I was talking to the director of sales there, and he was saying that there was a couple who came in and they really wanted this jaw-dropping, wow-worthy entrance moment. And of course, this was going to be the entrance that people would come through. It's just kind of hard to envision, though, what it could potentially look like for an evening event. So he pulled up this photo to show the prospective clients, and with draping, with lighting, with seating. I mean, it's kind of incredible actually how much all this can transform a space. And it is hard to envision unless you can see it. So this photo was worth more than, I would say, 1,000 words, probably worth a pretty substantially large event contract. And like I said, we really here at PartySlate, we really do believe that content is your currency. We're so lucky to be in an industry where we have professional photographers who we are so grateful for, all of our photographers that we work with. But we have all these professional photographers who are capturing a lot of the beautiful work that all of you guys are doing. And it is one of the few industries where we actually have that advantage, and people are also so visual when they are making their choices. And so having all this content at the tips of your fingers, how do you actually leverage it to help you grow your business, whether it's through Canva or other ways as well? And so when we took a look at how consumers are making their decision, we really did feel like content plays a role along every single part of the process. Whether it's in that beginning phase when people are exploring, deciding who it is that they actually want to potentially reach out to learn more about, or whether it's when you're connecting with them. So during, when you're exchanging follow-up emails, when you're trying to bring them on site for a venue tour, or whether it's for a proposal, and then of course when they're actually deciding who it is that they want to commit with. And I think many people here might know PartySlate as that first piece with the marketplace business that we have, but we've actually also recently launched a lot of tools to help with some of the connecting and committing phases as well. Because like I said, we know that photos are at the heart of every single part of it. So we've recently launched a tool called Photo, which is a tool that is private just for your team only, a place where you can store, find, and easily share out all your photos. We have an AI-powered search bar that is designed specifically for the events industry. So if you are looking for something very specific, you're able to pull it up in 2 seconds. And you can also share it out in a bunch of different ways. One of which is, of course, Canva, which we're going to be focused on a lot of today's webinar on. But there are other ways that you can share here as well, including a tool that we call photo boards, where it is just a nice, beautiful, clean designed slideshow link that you can share with your clients. And I want to take a few minutes to just show you guys first how it actually works. So on the front of house marketplace side, I'm going to show you first how someone might discover your business. Let's say I'm a consumer who's looking to host a holiday party. And maybe I go, and I'm here in Chicago, so I'm going to type in top venues in Chicago. Typically, PartySlate is oftentimes the first or the second result that comes up. Today, we're at the first, and I'll click on it. That brings us to our directory. And I want to do it at a museum. I know my team would really love a museum holiday party. I'm scrolling down, I'm looking, and I discover the Griffin Museum of Science and Industry. I'm going to click on it. And this is what any consumer who is looking to discover a venue or a vendor to work with, this is what they're going to see. At the top, there's a few beautiful cover images that really showcase the space. We also know that if you're a venue, people really care about what event spaces are available for rent. So we've designed the profile page to also showcase every single event space. And then I think that this is actually one of the most important parts is your gallery. Like I said, people are visual. They really want to know what types of events you've done in the past, what have you executed on in the past. If I'm interested in a holiday party, I can filter to just look at the holiday parties that I've done before, that have been done here before. If I'm interested in corporate events, I can filter accordingly. And now I'm going to show you the back of house, which this is everything that's private. So these are those new tools that I was talking about that we just launched 2 months ago. And this is that AI-powered search bar. So let's say I have someone who's coming in, interested in a holiday party. Maybe they want a Christmas party specifically. I'll type in Christmas, and that was 2 seconds. There's no manual tagging that was done at all here. So this is all AI looking and seeing, and visually, it's computer visual imaging, visually pulling any photo that's associated with Christmas. From here, I can select a few photos as an example that maybe I want to show the client. I'm just going to select a few random ones, and I'm going to create a photo board, and I'll say Christmas holiday photos for Lillian. And within 2 seconds, it creates a beautiful, easy to share link that is branded for the space, customized for myself, which, you know, if I'm the client in this example, I don't know that it took you 2 seconds. I actually feel like you took a lot of time to put all these photos together for me. And then the other thing I want to show people, because I know we're all here for Canva, is we do have a direct integration with Canva. So if you are a PartySlate member and you don't have your Canva integrated yet, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it right now. Tara, who's on our marketing team, she'll drop a link into the chat where you can click that link and I'll take you through all the steps. If you run into any issues with setting it up as well, just type it in the chat. Someone on my team will help you figure it out. But so if I click launch right here, or if you click the link that's in the chat, you'll see that PartySlate now comes up on the left-hand side as an app. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to click connect. I'll click connect again. It's going to ask me for permission to allow access. And with that, my PartySlate is now integrated into Canva. What does that actually mean? So what this means is that I have access to my entire library of photos in Canva. No longer do I have to download a photo from, let's say, Dropbox, Google Drive, a shared drive, wherever it is, re-upload it into Canva. There are so many people I've talked to who have actually said, I use the same 5 photos time and time again because they're already uploaded in my Canva and it's just easier, even though I know I might have a better photo somewhere else. You don't have to do that anymore. Everything is instantly here. I'll show it to you in a template that I have, where if I go into my PartySlate app, I can use that exact same AI-powered search experience and pull up any photo in 2 seconds. So I'm gonna do maybe red carpet. And here we have, this is PartySlate's account. And so we have a bunch of PartySlate red carpet photos. I'm gonna click it, drag it, and there we go. All of my photos. Maybe I want to do, let's say I want to show a disco ball party. I'll pull up disco. Again, the photo pops up and I can drag it in right away. So all of your full library, all in here. You can also filter according to portrait, landscape, square. I know a lot of people use Canva for social media. So having the orientation of the photo be specific is really useful. You can also filter it by your specific album name if you know what album it's in. And so it just makes it that much easier and more accessible for you to use all your content and have it at the tips of your fingers. With that, I am going to hand it over to Lynette, who's going to share a little bit about her tips and tricks for setting up Canva.
Great. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. So many of you have used Canva for years, so I'm not going to teach you the basics, but one of the key things I'm going to go over are the systems that Canva has in place to make your life as easy as possible. One of which, and the most important one I would say, is templates. So being able to set up your designs and have a consistent design, you know, you're selling the same packages over and over again. You don't want to keep creating these one-off designs. So creating a template is super important. If you don't already have one, Canva has this template section and you can literally write in there event proposal. And these will give you great places to start. And you can click on one and customize from there, which is really great. They have event pricing documentation in there as well. So again, you do not have to design from scratch. If you are new to Canva, you can go in here, find a template and customize from there. Now, PartySlate, we have our example template. And the next system I want to go through is the brand section. So this brand section really allows you, again, that really quick standardization, keeping everything clear and on brand. You put your logos in here, you add all of your colors, your fonts, you can do approved photos, graphics, and icons. And what's really great in here is it just makes everything so much easier. So first of all, I'm looking at my template, I'm like, hey, this really isn't like feeling like PartySlate. You can just hit shuffle and it will shuffle through the colors until you find one that resonates with your brand the best. So maybe I don't like that. Okay, another option. And it will continue to go through giving you recommended options without you having to go through and like pick what belongs where. And then again, now your logo is easily placed. So I'm just going to put PartySlate here real quick. And then finally, we have fonts as well. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, yeah, this template was great, but these aren't my PartySlate fonts. If you go into fonts on textiles, it will label all of your fonts. So I'm like, here's my heading. I want to change this to a subheader. If you click shift, you can select multiple at one, which is great, change things very quickly. And now suddenly I'm getting very close to a branded template with the PartySlate brand, and all it took was a couple clicks. I didn't really have to like redo a bunch of stuff. I didn't have to guess what fonts I use. Everything was right there in there. The other system, as Lillian went through, is that PartySlate app. So being able to go in and it loads, and again, all of you know, you're downloading your photos from somewhere and you're uploading. And even if they're already in your upload section, I never think to go there first. I never think, oh, have I uploaded this photo before? I'm always like, oh, I know where it is in like Dropbox or whatever. But with the PartySlate app, like I never have to think of it. So we just did last night, we put together the Met Gala email. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out.
It's my favorite time of the year is seeing what our marketing team comes up with that.
It's so fun. In our upload section right now, we probably have like duplicates, triplicates, 6x of like the same Met Gala fits because we just kept copying and pasting them into our Canva without thinking. We don't have any duplicates of our event photos because we can go right in here. So as Lillian said, you can go in, select your orientation. If you want to do a certain album tag or album name, go in. I'm doing dance floors, feeling dancy, and it's just a click. I like this one.
And I think for anyone who is newer to Canva, maybe it can feel a little intimidating to think about which templates you might want to use or start off with. So after this webinar, we'll actually send a list of some templates that our PartySlate team recommends as a starting point for you all to just narrow it a little bit.
Perfect. And as you see, I suddenly have those photos in very quickly. We built this out in a matter of minutes. For those of you that are like, wow, thank you, Lynette, you taught me how to do what I've been doing every minute of every day for the last few years. I just wanted to give a couple like design best practices to think of like as you're designing. First and foremost, we want to design collateral that gets a yes, not just like, wow, this looks good. It's really tempting, especially in this industry, to design for the aesthetic. And of course, we want things to be very beautiful and packaged very well, but we want to actually design for clarity, speed, and decision making. So you want to tailor your collateral for each client, and photos are the easiest way to do this. Again, right now, like my clients, maybe they thought the dance floor was the most important, so that's what I'm putting in these packages. Maybe, you know, you're a vendor, you're doing rentals and they're interested in chargers and you're able to bring up exactly what they're looking for. That only takes seconds, if maybe a minute or two, and it really allows you to just add that customization, which will, I think, take you the extra mile with your clients. I think when people think things are personalized for you, they are like, this person has an attention to detail, they see me, they see my vision, let's move forward. You also want to remove friction from the decision by showing exactly what you're recommending. So again, having those photos showing, not telling, is absolutely huge. And last, you want to guide their attention to what matters most. So try to stick to one focal point per page. So for this page, it's pricing and packaging. And you want to have a clear hierarchy. So especially out when I was in this text and I was showing you these textiles, it can be really, really tempting to be like, oh, I want the heading, but I want it smaller. Like I could be like, oh, I really just like want this, but I want it smaller. But it really is kind of taking away the attention of like where you really want it. So build out this hierarchy of fonts and make sure you stick to it, even if you don't feel like you want to. And those are my tips and tricks. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Lynette. So why don't we move on to having Monica and Kelsey share some of what they're doing as people who are in the catering and venue space. So I would love to start off with you, Monica. And I'm just curious, how often are you in Canva and what types of collateral are you creating the most?
So I am in Canva daily. I have kind of a dual role, so I do some social media content, although we're more heavily doing reels at the moment. So the majority of what we're doing is these either sort of like mood board proposals that will be general. So I have one for weddings, for galas. We'll do a seasonal one that we can just send out to someone who's generally interested. And then we also do lots and lots that will be tailored to a specific event. Um, those ones are both done by our sales team and then also in assist with me. So part of my role has been ensuring that it's easy for everyone else to be able to create their designs. So that's why I've been kind of trying to streamline that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and give a couple examples of how I've tried to make that a little bit easier.
Are you setting up
Okay.
the template then for everyone, Monica? And then you are
Yeah.
asking people to just put in their own photos, put in their own title?
Yes, exactly. So I've been building out templates and then building out sort of evergreen slides, if that makes sense. So for
Yeah.
example, this is like an hors d'oeuvre slide. It's beautiful and polished, and that way it can just be popped into a proposal if you need a slide about hors d'oeuvres. We do the same thing we'll have a lot of like cool um, um, food pop-ups or like menu items that we'll do that you can have a smoke station at your event. So we have those slides pre-built
Well, I want
out.
this at my next event. This looks awesome.
This one's a huge hit. It's lots of fun. So we do both the food and the cocktails, and we'll have a couple different versions of that. So if each event will often have a different look to it, and so I'll try and build out ones using similar sort of aesthetic and vibe. Um, and then we do sort of themed ones. So we've done a lot of space themed events. There's two big museums in DC that are space themed, so that's very popular. So we've been building out slides like that, also kind of mood board style. And then, so all of those live in the brand templates. All of them are available to the team so they can kind of just easily go in and select those. Um, we have our sort of mood board templates so that can just be immediately dropped in. And then to make that even easier with the PartySlate integration, we have created albums that you can find. So in things like first courses, because with food menu items, you can search you can use the AI search, which is really great for sort of more general things. Like I can search lobster and it will pull up lobster items. But if I'm looking for our general first courses, I've made all of those into albums. So if we were doing a menu slide, we could start and go in here for the salad course and then search for the entree. And
Monica, were you the one
those
who set up
available.
these specific albums with first course, entree?
Yep, so we did these all directly in PartySlate, and these albums are also available for people who are searching for catering companies. So it has all of our beautiful professional food photography. So it kind of has a dual purpose of if people are searching and find our company, they can see the types of menu items that we have. And then also at the same time, they're easily accessible for the team to build out beautiful slides. So go
I
ahead and
love it.
pull that in. And then same thing, I have dessert collection, can pull everything up. And then just like that, you can create a really quick, beautiful menu slide. So
And I saw someone ask in the chat, they asked, how did you create these albums? And so I know you're the one who created it, Monica. Do you want to share a little bit about your process of how you actually set up those albums? Because I think what you are going through right now is what I'm sure a lot of people who are thinking about expanding this to their team, maybe what they're thinking too, where you can set up the templates, but it's still a little bit overwhelming to think about, oh, there's all these photos. How do I actually guide people to the best in class photos? So do you want to talk a little bit about how you actually set up
sure.
these albums?
Is it helpful if I pull up PartySlate website and just
Yeah,
sort of
yeah, that'd be great.
demo
Thank
it?
you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in
So it
um,
is, I think Katie just asked, was it in Canva? It is actually in Photo Hub and Party Slate. And all
yeah,
that automatically ports over. Because of the integration, it automatically translates into Canva. So nothing that you have to do in Canva.
So in your photo hub here, you have albums and you can make both public and private albums. So for example, this one's a private album because it has every single photo from this event all in one. And so I just like dumped all of those in so that when I'm searching, I have access to all of those. And then we have more curated albums that are visible. Um,
So everything
and
under Photo Hub actually is fully private. Back in the beta phase, which you were probably part of our beta,
yep.
Monica, things were all together, but everything in Photo Hub is actually private. So there's no risk
Oh.
at all. If you're thinking, I want to upload 560 photos, even though, probably 500 of them I don't want to be shown publicly for marketing purposes, none of it will automatically go on to your public profile. It is completely separate. So really you can think of this as private storage that's built for the events industry. And I love, Monica, though, how you set it up, where you've also curated specific albums for Canva or for your sales team for what you would recommend they use.
Yep. So if you look on the front end, you can see our galleries here, and then we use the photo albums. So this is where these courses live so that people can get a sense of all of the different menu items. We have like fun concepts and displays, and then all of those are searchable back in Canva here in the PartySlate. So that was how we kind of bridged the difficulty because with food, menu items are very specific. And if you can't search for a specific menu item, it helps to be able to categorize them. So that definitely speeds things up.
Awesome. And you can have, I saw Amanda asked, you can have a photo in multiple albums. Maybe after our panels, I can show everyone how you can do that. But there are ways, it's kind of like, I like to compare it to your iPhone photos, where your iPhone photos can be shared within multiple albums, but there's still just one photo that lives on your iPhone. So Photo Hub is built in the exact same way. And if you are uploading something into your public profile, you will have the option to port it over into your Photo Hub to have it in your private storage as well, but it doesn't automatically do that. So they are disconnected. Thank you, Monica.
Yeah,
I would,
absolutely.
yeah, I feel like we could talk about this for hours.
Tons of
Maybe
little things.
Kelsey, yeah, why don't we, Kelsey, see how you're using Canva? How often are you using it? And then some of the things that you're creating in it as well.
Yeah, of course. I'm also in Canva every single day, same with our marketing team. On the sales side, we're primarily like creating proposals, know before you go guides, client-facing pitch decks. And then on the marketing side, they kind of use it for digital ads, signage, menus, promotional materials like flyers or rack cards that we have. But yeah, one of the biggest shifts for us was our marketing team also created proposals for us. So standardized templates for the sales team. So instead of starting from scratch, we can quickly personalize something that feels elevated and on brand. So I can share my screen too to kind of show an example. Mine's a little slower. Let's see here.
Then I saw Kelsey real quick because it sounds like you use templates too. I saw
Mhm.
Amanda asked, do you have a master template and people use copies of it, or how does that work if you want the same design for multiple uses? She
Yeah.
has a great design, but doesn't know how to save it as a template. And so maybe that's something you can show everyone here too, because I do think if it's the first time you've created a template, it might be confusing on how to actually get there.
Yeah, of course. Is my screen sharing?
Yes,
Okay,
we got you.
perfect. And move this. So for our team, our marketing team has created like brand guides. So it's really nice because I have three different brands that I'm using. I'm using the Museum of Science and Industry, the Shedd Aquarium, but then also we have our own kind of catering name for what we do at the Shedd Aquarium, Azure. So we have like all of our logos, colors, fonts, brand voice here, but there are templates that um, our marketing team made, and then they store them all in a folder and we can't even edit them. But then if I click up here, I can share it. I can use brand template.
This is great. So no one can accidentally go in there and mess up
Hmm.
the way that the template is set up because it's essentially locked, but you can create a new document that uses all the template, everything that was set up.
Exactly. And that's like something our marketing team has set up. So I don't know how they
Yeah.
set that up, but once they make it and I hit those three dots in copy, you can see it says like copy of here. And then, it's unlocked and I can go in and change anything that I need to on this side. But in terms
Right.
of templates that we're using, this is kind of a proposal template that we use. So here we can put the exact company that we're sending proposal to, what their logo is, with their company name, event time, and then they've built out, yeah, like a table of contents, just kind of a little bit of a preview of the event, and then I can easily come in and change each of these photos here for depending what space they're in. So I'll say what venue it is, and since it's U5, oops, O5, again, I can come here and usually search for, well, I can just do submarine up here and find photos to easily swap. Okay, but moving on, and then we have different covers. Again, we have like what menus we're going to have in here. Can easily switch out the items. And then a few different inspiration pages as well on here. I also like to have an iPad with me on all of my venue walkthroughs because our spaces are so hard to almost envision your event there since they're at an aquarium and at a museum. So I've created kind of like a slideshow that I'll have on my iPad and I can quickly like swipe through the space that we're in and have live photos of how different events can look in that space. Because it will look a lot different for a 100-person plated dinner versus a 4,000-person reception. Or if you're here during our winter season, we have our Christmas around the world and holidays of lights. So those events look a lot different. So it's really nice to have those all in here. But I've also easily been able to create shorter versions that are more wedding focused, more holiday focused, or more just standard corporate focused. And then a lot of people I talk to as well aren't in town. So it's really nice being able to share this on a call with people, kind of giving them a virtual walkthrough through each space. And I can easily send them a link as well. If you hit share, there's like public view links. You can create a public link that's really easy for anyone you're talking with to follow along with as well.
So Kelsey, when you're on your venue tour and you have your iPad, do you just have
Mhm.
this public link that's pulled up and then you're swiping through as obviously as you're moving from space to
Yeah, I can
space?
do the public link, or sometimes I'll also just do present mode
Oh, yes,
on my
that works
iPad.
well too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I saw someone, I think someone in the chat asked, does the AI tool need file names or somehow needs to be labeled beforehand? So the answer is no. This is all AI, visual computer imaging. When Kelsey searched submarine, we did not go back and label all of her submarine photos submarine. It's all just visually. AI is looking at your image and can tell that there's a submarine here. I also saw someone asked, is there a storage space limit for Photo Hub? There's actually no storage space limit, so take advantage. It's part of anyone who's a PartySlate member, you have unlimited access. And someone else also asked, what does the setup actually look like if they wanted to move everything from Dropbox onto PartySlate? And so that is something that I know can feel so overwhelming because you probably have a ton of events. I'm sure Monica, Kelsey, you guys can probably empathize with how many photos you end up with after being in the business for a few years. So if you're a PartySlate member, my operations team will actually help you with a one-time Photo Hub transfer, where we will help you get everything from Dropbox, Google Drive, Share Drive. Believe me, we've seen it all. We'll help you transfer them all onto Photo Hub into private storage. So none of it will be on your public profile, but that way, everything that we're seeing now, you can easily access, because I'm sure, if you're searching submarine, you might have, 2 submarine photos that are currently up, but you might have 15 that are actually in Dropbox or wherever it is. So we want to make sure that you can access everything, because you never know if you want, like Kelsey mentioned, if you want a seated meal there, or if you want to have a 1,000-person standing reception. And it can look different, can feel different depending on the type of event that you're trying to cater to. Keep asking the questions. We will try to address as many as we can as we go along. And so the next thing I want to ask Monica and Kelsey is, as you guys, obviously, Monica, I know you're on the marketing team, but it sounds like you work with the sales team quite closely. And Kelsey, you're on the sales team, but how does the collateral that you're creating in Canva actually impact your sales process? Kelsey, maybe we'll start with you first.
Yeah, of course. So before we would just send from Triple C like BEOs and maybe like put a few photos or a link to photos in there, but it's really nice now. Um, we use Canva as part of our sales strategy, so it's no longer just informational, but it is visual storytelling. And we've gotten a lot more response from people and business close by being able to really tell our story for people that are either not able to come into the space or envision it on their own.
So you're saying you're actually getting more people to respond back to you,
Hmm.
like actually continue on the conversation. Because I know every single person I think on this call probably has had the experience of feeling like everyone's ghosting me. What's going on? There is someone who's on the other side of that email who's reading it. People
Hmm.
just sometimes choose to not respond. But what you're saying is when you send out those visuals, you're actually getting way more engagement from people
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
That's
And even if I'm not creating something in Canva using the photo hub and the links that I can send out, I've even gotten people just responding like, those are amazing photos and hadn't been getting responses before. So it's at least like getting them to start to open with my prospecting, some of the things I'm sending.
I love that. What about you, Monica? What have you heard from the sales team?
I mean, as you said at the beginning, the picture is worth 1,000 words. I think it really gives you an edge when you can show the work you've done, especially with something like food. They can't come and taste it unless obviously you're doing a tasting for an event that's already planned. So to be able to show some insight into what it might look like has a huge help. And then also, people don't always know what's possible. So, like for example, the smoke station slide that I showed you, um, people can look at it and say, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize that that was even an option, that there's elements I can include in my event that will keep guests engaged," or um, and so people will say, I'm looking to host a party and this is kind of the theme. We have photos that we can pull from former events to say, we can do this, this is what it might look like. Or if we haven't done that exact type of event, to give general inspo or similar ideas. And I think that's been really, really beneficial for the team.
Monica, how often would you say your sales team is customizing the collateral versus using what you've built for them, those off-the-shelf mood boards?
So the goal is to go, like, it sounds kind of funny to say to go away from customization because obviously we're tailoring carefully, but to take the slides that someone who hasn't seen our work before, those slides will work perfectly to reuse them every time. And then we'll do like a couple slides of customized elements. And then it will also depend on kind of how far in the process are we. So is this just sort of like a general inspo, or is this a booked event? And now we're talking about details and what it might look like. And I didn't include this in my slide because I don't do this process, but we also use it for lookbooks. So with rentals, to show like the linen options and all of the furniture options. That's another part of the proposals that we do. So we'll give like 3 or 4 different linen looks and that type of thing, which I think is also a really great visual.
Yeah. One other thing, Monica, before I forget, I think at the start you mentioned that you also use Canva for social media. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you doing within Canva to help help you with social media assets?
I think the big thing right now is the carousel slides. So if anyone's deep in Instagram, it kind of had a bit of a resurgence and they're like, maybe a 10 slide with a lot of text heavy. So all of those where you have a lot of beautiful photo assets in the background and then um, sharing like either a story or an insight, or people were doing, like upcoming trends for 2026. And then in the background, you can share event photos. So I think a lot of people in the events industry have been utilizing that. I've done a little bit, but not a ton. I have plans to do more. So that's the main thing that I've used. And then obviously just for putting together like nice collage style stories and um, those types of things.
Yeah. Do you have favorite templates that are social media focused that you also draw, go back to time and time again within Canva?
I've created a couple that I reuse myself, but from Canva specifically, I don't have a go-to. Um, but I'm excited to see what you guys send because I will definitely be taking use of those.
Yeah, love it, love it. Yeah, I know Lynette and Tara have pulled together some suggestions, so that'll go out to everyone, like I said, including Monica and Kelsey yourselves, but everyone who's on the call. I see Stephanie just asked, so when you are putting together these visuals, obviously, clearly, I'm hearing from both of you, it really helps with the sales process, engagement, actually successfully closing the business. How are you actually sending the visuals to the clients? Are you providing a link? Are you attaching them? What does that look like?
Yeah, I like to do things more in links because I know attachments can really clog up whether something's going to go through to someone or not. So actually on Canva, I think I had shared, I can reshare well, if you go to share on Canva, there's a huge copy link, but if you scroll down, there's public view link, and you can highlight that and then just put that in your email and rename the link if you want it to be something. And then Photo Hub will also send photos that way. So I never send photos as attachments on emails anymore. It's either all through a Photo Hub link or it's going to be something I created in Canva. Um, there are other things that like are paid or can be free, like Issue or HeyZine, but I feel like the branding through Canva and PartySlate is a lot more of like our brand forward focus.
Kelsey, is it okay with you actually if I show people a few examples of the photo
Yeah,
board links
of course.
okay, awesome. So, because I feel like this is something that I hear quite a lot in that attachments bounce, or my worst fear, honestly, is that it doesn't bounce, but Gmail marks it as spam. Because then you actually have no idea if it actually got through to the end person or not. I think Gmail will oftentimes think if there's an attachment from someone that you haven't emailed with a lot, it's probably fraud or spam, which is like makes my heart sink when I hear about that. So obviously within Canva, you can share out that link publicly, like Kelsey said, which, within your template, or let's say you just want to send out a few photos. I'm going to screen share the photo Griffin Museum of Science and Industries photo hub. There's a section on the left-hand side called photo board. I shared a quick example earlier, but what's really great about this is that you can see, I'm sure Kelsey or someone on your team, you've created a bunch of example photo boards here that you can use time and time again. You can actually set when that link expires, whether it expires in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or never. So a lot of these are links that never expire. I'll show one example here, celebrating the holiday season. If I copy the public link, this is a link that anyone can view. So you don't have to be a PartySlate member. You don't have to have a PartySlate account. It is accessible for everyone. And it's branded in the top left corner, which to Kelsey's point, I think makes a really big difference. I know sometimes people will share out Google Drive links or Dropbox links, but they're not branded. And I think if you're trying to close a $100,000, $200,000 event, I've had people say it feels a little unprofessional to be sending out a Dropbox link when I'm trying to close a six-figure event. And so this is a nice way where it's branded. You can always edit and choose what the title is. And then if you click in, it creates this really clean, beautiful, I'm going to expand a little, this slideshow where people can click through photo by photo, see some more examples of what the space actually looks like, and just a lot of different setups. And you can control how many photos are in here. There's no limit, and you can always come in and edit it again too. So this is just another option if you're looking for a good way to get visuals to people without having to worry about attachments, downloading, resizing, making sure it's not too big, and then ultimately bounce backs. Monica, how do you guys send out your visuals?
We've just been doing PDF attachments because of some concern with links. People are sometimes a little more concerned about it, but um, if the file is too large, the Canva public link is a good way to go.
Great. And I think for both of you, I guess, we saw a little bit about how Photo Hub is used within Canva, how both of you, your teams are using it. How has it changed your workflow from before you started using Photo Hub, the integration, versus today, what you have in Canva?
I can go
Kelsey, go
first.
ahead.
Yeah, I could speak for hours on this, but before I stepped into my director role, I was at another venue, so I had like all my photos exactly how I liked them. And then coming over, there was no one shared space, so I was annoying team members every day, like, does this photo exist? Does this exist? Photos I was finding was spaces that had been redone and were completely, not to trend or current with the exhibits that we currently had. Um, And then Sodexo Live has their own like photo hub, but you have to manually tag everything for it to come up in searches, and not everyone sends everything that way. So just like really focusing on reaching out to photographers that had been here like the last year, this year, having team members prioritize reaching out to events and getting those photos. It's been so easy with the membership we have. We can just send a link who the vendors were and they get uploaded into PartySlate. And what would take me like an hour and be kind of a subpar thing to send now can take me like 2 minutes, and it's so beautiful, up to date. So it's been, yeah, like life changing, I'd say, for my work process and just being able to show my spaces in the best way.
What about you, Monica?
So I started at Well Done about a year ago, and one of the big projects that I've worked on since I've been there is managing the photos because we have thousands upon thousands of photos. Some of them are iPhone photography, some of them are professional photos, some of them are very old. So transferring a bunch of them into PartySlate so that they're all like these are the professional photos, these are polished, they're able to be sent to a client to be used in brochures and proposals. That's been huge. And then in terms of just knowing where photos are is really helpful because we had a SharePoint categorized by venue and then with some additional albums from various photo shoots or promotional events. And I have now sort of become the where is that photo expert for the team, which can be very helpful. But to be able to empower each person to be able to find the photos themselves is really helpful. And then having just one place where you can see every single photo is also really amazing instead of having to click really deep into a file folder to locate it. So that's been also a really big advantage.
Yeah, I feel like especially if you're on a larger team, you probably have so many people who are coming to you looking for photos all the time. So to be able to have them actually access and one shared place is so valuable and such a time saver for you.
Definitely.
I can also add on the integration with Canva has been amazing because I've ran out of space for photos I can have on my computer. And if I have them on my shared drive, I have to download them every single time. So just being able to have that search within there, looking in my albums, doing a search and having it transfer right over is, yeah, a world of hurt has been healed.
I
I wish
completely agree with Kelsey.
I wish I could do that for people every day, that a world of hurt was taken away. That's great, Kelsey. That's so great. And I think that sounds like my iPhone, to be honest. My iPhone's always mad at me because I have too much on it. Okay, so let's maybe wrap, but I want to ask both of you one thing, one last tip, I guess, which is if someone is about to start using Canva for the first time for their business, what is one thing that you think that they should start doing immediately with Canva? Monica, would love to start with you first.
Sure. I think building out the brand templates is really, really huge so that if you know you're going to be creating the same type of document over and over again and just using like photo frames and have your text all aligned and already branded, that's been a massive time saver so that you're not starting from scratch over and over again for each thing. I think that that would be the biggest time saver and also like way to set yourself up for success as you build out further.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Lynette showed us at the start how to do that because I feel like anyone who has a company, who has a business, visual consistency is also such a big part of it too, with every single piece of collateral that you create, and especially as you think about expanding it beyond just if you're a one-person business, as you build your team, you want to make sure everyone who's on your team is creating that consistent brand voice throughout all of your assets, and it really does impact client trust too if they're seeing that consistent branding throughout. Kelsey, what about you?
Yeah, mine's the same. I'd say like starting with what your brand is, building that in, but then past just building what your brand needs to be, but thinking, okay, in my client sales journey, what's my start point? What's my end point? What are visuals that can help me throughout the way? And building those initially because it'll take time to get them in there, but then it's going to be so fast to update it as things change, as you're prospecting to somewhere else. So just taking the time to initially set it up and then becomes so easy and it's a lot more intuitive than PowerPoint and I think professional.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, um, I'm screen sharing here a QR code for anyone who, if there is something on this call that you feel like you want to dig more into. I know we mentioned a few different things, one of which is that one-time photo hub transfer. So someone mentioned, I have all my photos in Dropbox. How do I actually get it into Photo Hub? Like I said, our ops team will actually help with that. It's a one-time transfer. We'll take everything that you have in your Dropbox. It is photos only, so we don't have video support yet. Hopefully to come soon, but any of your images, we can help you transfer into Photo Hub so you can utilize all those tools, scan that QR code, and someone on my team can help get you set up with that. Or if you want to see some more of that AI powered search examples, I know someone else asked, I want to see more examples. It is actually pretty amazing, I feel like, what AI can do these days. And I kind of feel like it's one of those things where if you aren't using it, your competitors probably are. And so we all just have to be comfortable and familiar with how we can integrate AI into more of our workflows. And this is certainly one of those ways where it's a time saver. It's a great way to help showcase your visual, showcase your work. So if you want to see more examples of that too, happy to have someone on our team do a demo with you as well. And if you just want to learn more about any of this QR code will get you to the right person. With that, I just want to say thank you so much to Kelsey and Monica for this, and Lynette too, for this incredible webinar. Shared so many tips. I feel like there's so much that you can do within Canva that it can feel overwhelming sometimes to start. And it's also helpful, even if you are an expert Canva user, it's helpful to see what other people in the industry are doing too. So I appreciate both of you guys so much for sharing so much of your experience with our community here.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.